So today we are going to be learning about the properties of addition. We're going to go over the commutative property of addition and also the associative property of addition. So let's begin with the commutative property of addition. So the commutative property of addition tells us that no matter what order we add numbers in, the answer is always going to be the same. So let's start with this. So if I have 1 plus 3 and 3 plus 1, can you tell me how those equations are similar? If you answered that the add-ins are the same, you're correct. Now, can you tell me how they're different? If you said that they're different because they're in a different order, you're also correct. Okay, so let's do another example. So, if I have 2 plus 5 and 5 plus 2, do you think if we add those together, they're going to come out to be the same number? Well, let's see. So let's think of it this way. We're going to use symbols. So, if I have 2 stars plus 5 stars for the first one, and then for the second one I'm going to have 5 stars plus 2 stars. So, let's count them. So for the first one, I have a group of 2 stars. 1, 2. And then I'm adding a group of 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we count them all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2 plus 5 equals 7. For the second one, we have a group of 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus a group of 2 stars. 1, 2. Let's add them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, even though we rearrange the numbers, 2 plus 5 equals 7, and 5 plus 2 equals 7. Alright. So now, I would like you guys to come up with an example of the commutative property and write it down on a piece of paper, and then once you're done with that, share it with one of your classmates. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Okay. I'm going to assume that you're all done writing and have shared your examples with your classmates, and now I'm going to show you a poster that I've made that gives you some examples of the commutative property. So, like we said before, the commutative property is when you just switch the numbers and the sum is going to stay the same. So, we have 2 plus 3 equals 5, then that means that 3 plus 2 equals 5. And then this will be hung in the classroom for future reference if you ever need it. Alright, now we're going to go over the associative property, which is very similar to the commutative property. Except with the associative property, we're going to be working with 3 or more numbers. So, let me show you the poster first. This might help a little bit. So this is another poster that I made for the associative property. So the order in which numbers are grouped does not change the sum. So if you look here, I have 1 plus 3 plus 2, and I've grouped 1 and 3 together. And then I also have 1 plus 3 plus 2, and I've grouped 3 and 2 together. So since I grouped different numbers in the equation, do you think that the number or the sum that we are going to get is going to be different for those two? Let's find out. Alright, so the associative property of addition, again, states that when we add 3 or more numbers, you can add them in any order, and the answer is always going to be the same. So, you could add the first pair of add-ins, or you can start with any pair. Let's do an example. Alright, so this is going to be similar to the one you just saw. So, we have 3 plus 2 plus 1. And I'm going to group 3 and 2. So then I have the same equation, but instead of this time, I'm going to group 2 and 1. So since I grouped 2 different numbers, do you think that I'm going to get the same answer? Let's find out. So, if I start here, so I'm going to start by adding 3 plus 2. What does that give me? 5. And then I'm going to add my 1. That gives me the answer of 6. So for the second one, I'm going to start with the 2 plus 1. That gives me 3. And then I'm also going to add this 3. And then 3 plus 3 equals 6. So with the associative property, it doesn't matter which group or which numbers you group, you're going to get the same answer. Alright, so now, again, I want you to come up with an example of the associative property, write it down on your piece of paper, and then tell a friend. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Okay. I'm assuming that you're all done. We're going to go over one more example, just because I think this is a little bit tricky. Alright. So, if I have 2 plus 4 plus 3, and I'm grouping 2 and 4 together, and then I have 2 plus 4 plus 3, and I'm grouping 4 and 3 together. Can you tell me if you think that those are going to come out to be the same answer? Let's see. So again, I'm going to start with the 2 numbers that I grouped together, and I'm going to add them together. So 2 plus 4 is what? 2 plus 4 is 6. And then we're going to add the 3. So 6 plus 3 is 9. Alright, now let's go to the second one, where I grouped 4 plus 3 together. So again, we're going to start with the 4 plus 3, since I grouped those together. So 4 plus 3 is what? 4 plus 3 is 7. And then we're going to add our 2. So what's 2 plus 7? 2 plus 7 equals 9. So again, we got the same answer, even though we grouped numbers we group different numbers together. We're still going to get the same sum. Alright, so now that we've gone over all of that, we are going to do a little activity, which involves dice. So you're going to be paired into 4 or 5 of you are going to be paired into a group. And then each group at first is going to be given 2 dice. So let me explain what you're going to do first. You are going to roll the dice. So for example, I'm going to roll them right now. And I got I got a 5 and a 1. So what you're going to do is you are going to use those two numbers, and we're going to do the commutative property first. So since I rolled a 5 and a 1, I'm going to write those in two different ways, just like we did with the commutative property. So I can do it one way, would be 1 plus 5. And then the other way would be 5 plus 1. And then once you have written the two ways to write it in the commutative property, you are going to add them up. Just like that. So then we're going to do this with the commutative property for about 10 minutes. And then once we've done that, we're going to move on to the associative property and do the same thing. So I'm going to give you an extra dice. So then all together your group will have 3 dice. So you're going to do the same thing. Except this time you're going to be rolling 3 dice. So let's do another example. I'm going to roll all 3 of my dice right now. And I got 1, 5, and 3. So I could write it like this. 1 plus 5 plus 3. And then you're gonna write the equations using the associative property. So you're gonna group different numbers. So I'm gonna do 1 plus 5, and then you're gonna write another equation. And then I'm gonna group 5 and 3. And then, again, you're going to add them up to find the sum. So, you're going to start with this one. You would go 1 plus 5. 1 plus 5 equals 6. And then we're going to add the 3. 6 plus 3 equals 9. And then we're going to do the same thing with the second equation. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. And then we're going to add the 1. 1 plus 8 equals 9. Alright. Now, I would want everyone to get into their groups, and then I would go around with the dice and give them to my students. Also, with this lesson, I'd be going around right now and just kind of monitoring the kids and seeing how they're doing, and also joining in their conversations. I also made a homework assignment that could go along with this so that I could assess what they have learned. And so they would take it home for homework and then bring it back the next day and we go over it in class. But since I don't have students right now, I'm not going to do that. But once the students are done with the dice game, I would have the students group up, or they could just stay in their same groups, and then I'd ask them to reflect on what they've learned and discuss it within their groups. And I would go around and go to each group, and I would join in on their conversation and see what they're discussing. So I hope you guys liked my lesson. I hope you all learned something. Thanks.